Hey, it's Niall, and today we're in a very fancy apartment.
And it's a good time. We're chasing every moment, all the good nights. We're always looking out, and it's a good life. No, we are never letting this go.
This apartment is in Herceg-Novi in Montenegro, and just to be clear, we're not actually staying here. We just rented it for the day as a photo and video studio. But the price is actually quite reasonable. It's probably the best place to stay in town. A big 2-bedroom apartment right in the center, and it costs only 130 euros a night. Split that between 2 couples and it's not very much at all. And actually, that's one of the things I love most about working online and being able to travel all the time, is this thing called geo arbitrage, which basically means earning in a rich economy and spending in a not so rich economy. So you can get a lot more bang for your buck, you can stay in nicer places, eat out in restaurants more often, that kind of thing. But hey, let's get to the meat of today's video, which is all about freeing up time to build your online business. Now maybe you feel that in which case, congratulations, but this video is not for you, you lucky son of a... This video is for those of us who feel yes, if you're struggling to find the time to build your online business, then this is the video for you. The goal here is to help you free up at least 10 hours per week. Now, why 10 hours? Because that's the minimum amount of time I recommend you have available to build an online business. Anything less than 10 hours per week, and it's hard to build momentum and make steady progress. And hey, before we go any further, cue the sad music. Before we go any further, I should say that if you really are flat out working multiple jobs at the moment or taking care of young kids to the point where you feel exhausted all the time, then freeing up even 1 hour a week, it's going to be a bit of a stretch. So if you are in that situation, then honestly, I gotta tell you, building an online business probably isn't the best idea for you right now. Put it on hold and come back to it when you no longer need to work 2 jobs or when your kids are a bit older. For everyone else though, freeing up 10 hours a week should indeed be possible. You'll be required to make some hard choices and sacrifices, but the time is there if you want it. So what we're going to do now is run through a 3-step process for freeing up those hours. And at the end of this video, we'll also look at 2 extreme measures you can take if you're still feeling stuck. All right, so step 1, take stock. In the words of Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets managed. So your first step here is to track your time and get an accurate picture of how you're currently spending it. And there are 2 ways you can do this. The first is to sit down with a pen and paper and jot down how you think you spend your time. And the second is to log your time for 2 weeks and see how you actually spend it. Now the second way is obviously superior, but I'd recommend you do both so you can see the difference and learn to be skeptical of your assumptions. And to make this easier, here are some tools for logging your time. For your laptop or desktop computer, install Rescue Time. Their light plan is free and it will tell you how much time you spend each day, each week on various websites and applications. For mobile, use Moment for iPhone and iPad and use Rescue Time for Android. Free versions are available for each of those. And for almost everything else, your best bet is to track manually. So here is a simple Google spreadsheet you can use for that purpose. And I'll have a link to that and links for everything else mentioned in the description. Now, you might be wondering, how long do you need to track your time for? 2 weeks should be enough. Again, the whole point of this is to get very clear on how you're currently spending your time. What gets measured gets managed. And one important side note before we move on, if you find the whole time tracking thing difficult, that's probably a sign that you're not ready to work for yourself, because yeah, tracking takes discipline, but discipline is not optional when you're self-employed. So you best get used to it. Step 2, identify and fix the leaks. What do I mean by leaks? No, not that. I mean activities you spend a lot of time on that add little to no value to your life or distract you from more important things you should be doing. That's where time is slipping through your fingers. Now, some leaks will be very obvious to you and you probably won't need 2 weeks of tracking data to identify them. For example, you already know if you watch an excessive amount of television or if you spend too many hours playing video games. You'll want to tackle those big leaks first, because plugging even one of them may free up enough time to build your business. Let's run through a couple of examples. The first is good old television.
Television is taking its place as another important and vital contribution to our daily lives. It is a modern miracle.
Let's say you spend 15 hours per week watching movies and shows on Netflix. In theory, you could just stop spending all that time watching Netflix and use it to build your online business instead. But that's easier said than done, isn't it? You probably enjoy your Netflix time and use it to unwind each evening after your 9 to 5, or maybe that's time you spend with your significant other snuggled up on the couch. The point is that you need to be realistic about what you're giving up in order to build your business. There will be resistance to making these changes, both internal and external. At the same time, recognize that you will have to make some sacrifices here. As the saying goes, you can have anything you want in life, but you can't have it all at the same time. Most likely, you're going to have to quit spending time on a few things you enjoy, at least temporarily, to make room for building your business. Now, all that said, don't expect too much from yourself starting out. Reducing your Netflix time from 15 hours one week to 0 the next, that's a bit too much to ask. Maybe you are one of those people who can quit things cold turkey, but don't beat yourself up if you're not. Instead, just gradually wean yourself off. Limit yourself to 10 hours of Netflix next week and see how you do. And once you've accomplished that, you can set your sights on 5 hours. It doesn't have to happen overnight, is what I'm saying. Our next example is obligations.
Our goal is to avoid becoming another case like Mr. Smith, a man whose present sad condition could have been avoided if he had learned when young how to handle his obligations.
Indeed. Sometimes a leak will take the form of a commitment or obligation to another person or group. So maybe you're the go-to person in your apartment building when a neighbor's computer breaks, or maybe a volunteer a few nights a week helping underprivileged kids with their homework. It's hard to even call such commitments leaks, right? Because you're doing good deeds. But all too often, those kinds of commitments, they're a sneaky form of procrastination. They offer a convenient excuse for not doing the scary work of building an online business. Because who's going to criticize you for helping little Johnny with his math problems or old Mrs. Burke with her computation machine? Nobody is going to criticize you for that sort of thing. And that's the problem. That's exactly why many people never accomplish their goals in life. They're not willing to be seen as selfish and endure some criticism.
You smell like baby barf.
Exactly, like that. So the message here is to leave no stone unturned when questioning your time commitments. Nothing is sacred. Don't keep doing something just because you've always done it or because other people expect you to do it. Plug those leaks and get on with building your business. Once you're earning thousands a month from your laptop, you'll have more time and freedom than ever to be of service to the little Johnnies and the old Mrs. Burkes of the world.
Tell us what you think of computers now.
Oh, I think they're lovely.
Step 3 then is to keep the weight off. So once you've cut back on time wasting activities and you've freed up enough time to build your online business, you might think you're done. But that's really just the beginning, because lots of people can lose weight, but few keep it off long term.
Oh no!
As soon as you clear time in your schedule, there will be temptation for you and other people to fill it right back up again with shiny new distractions.
Squirrel!
Or to fall back into old time-consuming habits. This is where you need to be vigilant and start saying no. Or, better yet,
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Saying no to bad opportunities, that's easy enough, but you also need to say no to good opportunities that don't fit with your overall plan. And please do not underestimate how difficult this can be. Get used to disappointing people and missing out on some cool stuff, because it is going to happen. In fact, it needs to happen. Now, this doesn't mean that you suddenly have to start saying no to everything, because yeah, there should always be room to kick back and enjoy the present moment. But for every offer and opportunity that comes your way, ask yourself, how does this fit into my overall plan? As they say, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So keep your end goal in mind when people make requests of your time. Remember that you're building a business that will ultimately give you more freedom than most people will ever experience. All right, so that's the 3-step process for freeing up 10 hours per week to build your online business. First, take stock so you know exactly how you're spending your time currently. Second, identify and fix those leaks. And third, keep the weight off by being very selective about what you commit to going forward. Now, if you give that process a try and you're still feeling stuck, it may be time to go extreme.
We just push it to the limit. We take it to the extreme.
These last 2 ideas I'm going to share with you, they're not for everyone, but they can sometimes be the best way forward. So extreme measure number 1 is quit your job. If you're currently working a full-time job, it can be hard to free up enough time on evenings and weekends to make a good run at building your own business, especially if you have a bunch of other commitments that you just can't shake. If you are in that situation, consider quitting your job and going all in on your own thing. Now, I know that is pretty extreme, but hey, I did warn you. And of course, you shouldn't make such a drastic move without first taking some precautions. Ideally, you would have at least 6 months of living expenses saved up. You'd already have some experience working for yourself, so you have realistic expectations of what it takes to succeed, and you'll be confident in your ability to find another 9-to-5 job with comparable pay if things don't work out. Now again, those are ideals. I quit my job with no prior experience working for myself, and I managed okay. But everybody's situation, everybody's temperament is different, so you'll need to decide what's best for you here. Next, extreme measure number 2, and that is go work abroad. Or as I like to call it, feck off overseas. So if you feel like you can't gain any traction at home, but you aren't willing to leave the world of regular employment just yet, this could be a great option for you. This is how famous travel bloggers like Johnny Ward and Janet Newenham got started. And it was a big stepping stone for me as well. You can often earn and save more money working abroad than you can at home. Many foreign employers will give you free or subsidized housing, and the general cost of living at your destination may be far lower. Going abroad also gets you away from all prior commitments and obligations back home, so you can start fresh and be more intentional about how you spend your free time, meaning you can more easily devote entire evenings and weekends to building your online business. Now, of course, before taking the plunge with this option, there are a couple of considerations. First, and we need to cue the sad music again here, first, be prepared to feel lonely and homesick. Moving to a new country means leaving all your friends, family, and familiarities back home. You will make new friends, of course, but it can take a while, especially if there's a language barrier. And second, be sure to do your due diligence before taking any job abroad. If possible, try to speak with other expats doing similar work, ideally for the same employer, and ask them what the day-to-day is really like. If you're interested to learn more about working abroad, then be sure to check out the video description. I've included a couple of links there that will help you out. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. I'd love to stay and chat to you longer, but unfortunately, what I'd love to hear from you in the comments is what one action you're going to take to start freeing up more time to build your online business. It doesn't have to be anything big and scary. It can be just one small change to get the ball rolling. So let me know what that is for you in the comments. And hey, in case you didn't know, this video is part of my Start Earning Online series. If you want more videos like this showing you step by step exactly what it takes to build a successful online business, you'll find a link in the description where you can click through and sign up for the full series. And remember,
Time is on slipping into the future.
so we'd best make the most of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.